You're standing in the glow of twinkling lights, surrounded by laughter and the smell of cinnamon, and you feel absolutely nothing. Or worse, you feel everything at once. Your chest tightens, your jaw clenches. You're scanning the room, calculating emotional landmines, predicting who will drink too much, who will say the wrong thing, who will cry. You're 7 years old again, watching a parent's face crumble behind a forced smile, learning that your job is to hold everyone else together while you disappear. December doesn't bring you peace. It brings you back to every holiday where you had to be the adult, the mediator, the one who made sure no one fell apart. This is the invisible weight of those who learned too early that love is conditional, that joy is performative, and that your worth is measured by how well you can manage everyone else's emotions while burying your own. Psychologists call this the holiday resilience pattern, and it's far more common than anyone wants to admit. It's what happens when your nervous system was trained during childhood to associate celebration with crisis management. Your brain learned that holidays weren't safe spaces for joy. They were emotional minefields that required constant vigilance. When other children were focused on presents and cookies, you were monitoring adult moods, translating tension, diffusing conflicts before they exploded. This created something called anticipatory hypervigilance, a state where your body is always 3 steps ahead of disaster, always preparing for the collapse you know is coming. The holiday resilience pattern manifests as emotional overfunction. You become the gift coordinator, the meal planner, the peacemaker, the one who makes sure everyone else's Christmas is perfect while yours becomes another exhausting performance. But here's what most people don't understand. You're not being generous or festive. You're managing anxiety. You're trying to earn the love and acceptance that you learned as a child only comes when you're useful, when you're invisible, when you sacrifice your needs for everyone else's comfort. The holiday season doesn't create this pattern, it activates it. Every Christmas song, every family gathering, every forced tradition becomes a trigger that pulls you back into that childhood role where your survival depended on reading the room and making yourself small. In adulthood, this childhood wound shows up in ways you might not even recognize. You might find yourself unable to receive gifts without intense discomfort, because somewhere deep inside, you learned that accepting means owing, and owing means you're vulnerable. You might overcommit to every holiday event, saying yes to gatherings you dread, because saying no feels like abandonment, like you're breaking the unspoken contract that your presence is what holds everything together. You might feel a wave of inexplicable grief when you see families laughing together in commercials, not because you're jealous, but because you're mourning the childhood Christmas you never had, the one where you got to just be a kid. Some of you can't rest during the holidays. You clean obsessively. You cook elaborate meals no one asked for. You orchestrate perfect moments because stillness feels dangerous. Because if you stop moving, you might feel something, and feeling means breaking. And you learned a long time ago that broken things get left behind. Others go numb. You sit in the middle of celebration and feel nothing but a dull ache, a sense of watching your life through plexiglass. You might feel triggered by forced cheer, by people who seem genuinely happy, because their ease reminds you that this was never easy for you, that you've been fighting for your entire life just to feel safe in moments that are supposed to be joyful. And here's the cruelest part. You might find yourself creating distance right when connection is possible. Someone offers you genuine warmth and you flinch. Someone wants to take care of you for once and you politely decline. Because intimacy without performance feels unfamiliar, almost threatening. Your nervous system learned that vulnerability during the holidays leads to disappointment, so you protect yourself by staying on the outside, by being helpful but never held, needed but never nurtured. But here's what needs to be said, clearly and without apology. No one is coming to save your holiday. No one is going to suddenly understand what December does to you, why you shut down or overextend, why the season everyone else celebrates feels like survival for you. The family members who created these patterns likely can't see them. The people who love you now might not understand why you can't just relax and enjoy yourself. You are the only one who can go back and rescue that child who learned to equate celebration with crisis, who learned that their peace was always secondary to everyone else's comfort. This is where healing begins, not in waiting for perfect circumstances or understanding families, but in the radical act of choosing yourself. You get to say no to gatherings that drain you. You get to create new traditions that feel safe instead of performative. You get to receive without guilt and rest without justification. You get to acknowledge that the holidays are hard for you, not because you're broken or ungrateful, but because your nervous system is still protecting you from dangers that no longer exist. The work is this: reparenting yourself through December. That means asking, what would I need to feel safe right now? And then giving yourself permission to honor that answer, even if it disappoints people, even if it looks nothing like what everyone else is doing. It means recognizing when you're slipping into old patterns, the overgiving, the hypervigilance, the emotional labor, and gently pulling yourself back. It means whispering to the part of you that's still 7 years old and terrified. You don't have to hold this together anymore. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to feel. You're allowed to want something different. Carl Jung once said, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul." December forces you to face it. The contrast between what the season promises and what it delivers for you is too stark to ignore. But that pain, that discomfort, that grief for what you never had, it's not evidence that you're broken. It's evidence that you're finally paying attention. You're not obligated to perform joy you don't feel. You're not required to maintain traditions that hurt you. You're not responsible for managing everyone else's experience of the holidays while sacrificing your own. The most mature, courageous thing you can do this December is choose your own peace, even if it looks nothing like what anyone expects. Let the broken parts of you rest. Let the child who had to grow up too fast finally just be held without having to earn it. This year, you get to be the one who decides what love looks like, what celebration feels like, what safety means. You've spent so many Decembers taking care of everyone else. This one can be different. Not perfect, not suddenly healed, but honest. You're not broken. You're not too much or not enough. You're someone who survived by becoming strong when you should have been protected, And now you're learning that true strength is letting yourself be soft. The work is hard. The healing is slow. But you're not alone in this invisible weight, and you're worthy of a December that doesn't ask you to disappear.